Hello and welcome to the United Views preview show for Saturday's trip to Crystal Palace. I'm Tom Dorn, I'll be your host tonight. We've got an absolutely stacked panel tonight. We've got 5 guests here, so there's plenty of opinions. I'm sure not everyone's necessarily going to agree, but we're United fans. That was what we love, don't we? First off, I'm going to introduce you to all of them quickly. We've got regulars Aidan, Joey, and Huzzy on, and we're also joined by newcomers Lee and Ashley. But I think we're going to. You guys can have a little introduction if you want.
Yo.
Hey, that's a newcomer, Lee.
All right.
This is going superbly, guys. All right, let's kick things off then. Of course, going into the game against Palace, I mean, we're coming off the run of 3 successive Premier League defeats. After that superb run against some of the top teams in the league, we've obviously hit a sticky patch. And Aidan, just going into this game, looking back to the West Brom game, it was a disaster in terms of the result. But what did you think about the performance?
I thought the performance was okay. It wasn't amazing, all right. This was like earlier in the season when we were scraping out results, but it was slightly better. It's kind of like on FIFA. Like, that's the best way to describe it. You're dominating your opponent. You know, you're getting shots on target. Their keeper's ridiculous. They score a ridiculously lucky goal. Like, in fairness, Tony Pulis did get his tactics absolutely spot on, and we should have realised that he was going to do that. Every single player said that before the game. You know, they're going to park the bus, they're going to do this and that. We didn't do enough to actually score, unfortunately. We lacked a lot of penetration. Robin van Persie, my opinion, was our best player. Was very unlucky not to score. Missed a penalty, obviously, and there's been loads of, things that Louis van Gaal said about that, but yeah, we did enough to win, but still our performances have to improve in terms of the midfield, in terms of closing down and getting the ball back quickly to initiate more attacks. We had so much possession, we just didn't do enough with it. We need to be quicker, and we definitely need to take the chances we had. My Hill was on form, but that isn't an excuse. Where United, we really need to be doing better, especially against Palace.
It's a great point. I mean, all the FIFA players out there among you, I think we can all agree with that on the FIFA. We're plenty of us that have done a rage quit in the past from a superb keeper. I mean, Joey, just touching on what Aidan said there about the performance of My Hill and the performance of Van Persie in particular. Do you agree that Van Persie was our best player? And do you think it was just a case of their goalkeeper, having a superb game and our chances just not going in? Or do you think there was something more to it than that?
No, I think, Van Persie was our best player. I mean, had he been, match sharp, he probably would have bagged a hat trick there, because he did get some good looks. And, a couple were wide. I think he had one right at the keeper. He missed the penalty, obviously. But, over that run where we were winning games, I kept saying, let's just keep the same team. And I think that this is, kind of, I guess, like, a reflection of not changing it up and not mixing it up enough. We kept the same team relatively the whole run, and even against, I believe, Chelsea and Everton, they were almost the same team, minus the Carrick injury. And I just think it just shows our lack of quality and depth, like I've been saying. I just don't think we're good enough in certain areas. I just think that we tried the same thing too much against West Brom. It was more of the same. A lot of possession, but no penetration. There was no, I was looking for someone to pick the ball up and just run at players, and it just didn't happen. But I wanted to say, for the first time in a while, I felt so unconfident about. I didn't think that goal was going to come. I just didn't see it coming. The ball went out to wide to Valencia a few times, and when it went to Valencia's foot, I thought, you know what, might as well just go do something in the kitchen, because he's going to waste this ball. You know what I mean? It's not. I have no confidence in him to deliver anything on the offensive side of his game. So yeah, I can agree with a lot of what Aidan said. It was frustrating because we dominated possession, and yeah, we're kind of getting blinded by the stats now. We just need to be better in certain areas, and I think we need that summer transfer window really bad.
Yeah, I mean, Lee, welcome to the show. Do you agree with that? Do you think that it's a problem over the last few weeks that we've sort of been blinded by stats? Say, when after the Chelsea game, Van Gaal was talking about possession, and everyone's talking about how much we had. I mean, we had 80% of the possession against West Brom, but again, no goals, and that's goalless in 3 games. Do you think it's a case of we need to adapt the tactics?
We need to, instead of thinking about like the stats and everything, the only stat that matters is the one in the top left corner at the end of the 90 minutes. So we shouldn't be thinking about playing possession football against every team, because Tony Pulis, he's a great manager. anything and everything he does, he gets results. He's done it at Palace. He kept them up. Great manager. But against West Brom, should we be playing possession football when we know they're going to sit back and let us attack and attack and attack? Because we shouldn't, especially not when the keeper's on form like that. It reminded me a lot of David Marshall when Cardiff City were in the Premiership. We just can't be doing that against teams like that. Fair enough, teams who probably is going to attack us a bit more, but West Brom were never going to do it. West Brom were never going to do that, especially when they got the 1-goal lead.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, Huzzy, we've talked about this in the past, haven't we? I mean, it's 3 weeks now, and you know, it's difficult to call out Van Gaal's tactics when they've obviously worked. You know, we've beaten big teams, we've beaten City, and we've beaten Spurs, and we've beaten Liverpool using those tactics. But you know, we've come unstuck in the last 3 games, and it's a problem. We've been saying it every week that possession football won't work against some teams, and it's looking a little bit like earlier in the season when we had a lot of the ball and we're not doing anything with it. What do you think about the game?
Yeah, about LVG's tactics, the thing is he knows how to play against. He gets the tactics right when we play a team that gives us lots of space. But when it comes to teams who put quite a few men behind the ball, then LVG gets stuck. I think in his second season he'll get used to it. But as you can see, the last 3 games that we have lost, it's been Chelsea, Everton, and West Brom. Chelsea, they're the best bus drivers in the league. They parked the bus. We struggled. We still played good, but we struggled to get a goal. We didn't even get a goal. Everton, credit to them, they did play well, but they also had men behind the ball. And West Brom, the keeper was fantastic on the day, and they put men behind the ball. So I think it'll just take time for Louis van Gaal to figure out how to break down teams that put men behind the ball. Once he figures that out, we can beat the big teams. We'll be able to beat the small teams. I'm not worried.
Great. I mean, Ashley, just building on that, I mean, we're going to talk about transfers in a little bit. We're going to talk about, you know, who we need for this team next season. But do you think the last few results are more of a case of Van Gaal not having the particular players he needs at his disposal, say, like Carrick? Or do you think it's this insistence that on this philosophy, on this formation that is actually causing United problems?
Yeah, it's better because like the Chelsea game, we dominated, like with possession-wise, had the ball, got unlucky with some goals, and then like we got tackled, and then Chelsea scored a goal. So, and then with Everton, we just completely destroyed. So we do need new players in. Didn't we have McNair in those games? And yeah, Chelsea done all right. Yeah, and then last Everton and West Brom, he was a little bit shaky, tackling high and stuff like that. So when it comes to summer, we need to pull in, definitely.
Yeah, like you say there, I think McNair, he wasn't necessarily on the best form against Everton, and he also gave away the free kick against West Brom that led to the goal. Yeah. I think we all think he's a fantastic prospect, but it's these games, isn't it, that is the problem. And if we want to be a Champions League team and aspire to win the Champions League and the Premier League, we're going to need some top-class defensive talent in the summer.
Yeah, we can't. I mean,
Aidan. Yeah, he's one for the future, isn't he? Not necessarily for now. I mean, Aidan, just finally touching on that West Brom game, what positives do you think we can take from it going into the Palace game in particular in terms of tactics? You know, what should we bring from that game into the Selhurst Park game?
That's a difficult question, to be perfectly honest, because we need to improve in all aspects. I suppose pass accuracy, but obviously create something with that. One thing we do need to improve on is using players like RVP. I understand why Louis van Gaal tried to play Fellaini up top. What I can't understand is how he did it. Like, we weren't crossing in, we weren't actually utilising his strengths. We were trying to play through the defence, which is what you should do when teams park the bus, but not when you've got someone like Fellaini up front. That means that you're going to try and ping balls to him, get him to chest them down, like block off the defenders so other players can make runs inside. And to do that, to put Fellaini up top, he put Rooney and RVP in calm, and I really didn't understand that the way we went. So to be honest, there's not a lot I would keep. Maybe the formation is probably the only thing I would say to keep with West Brom and a lot of the players, etc. I would certainly change a hell of a lot in that team. And to go on to another point about parking the bus, yeah, it's one of the most infuriating tactics, but we need to get used to it, all right, because it's now becoming a brand of football. You see Atletico Madrid, they won La Liga using it. Chelsea have won the Premier League using it, and we criticise teams for doing it, but it's effective. So we need to find a way to get around it. Like Barca, when they introduced the tiki-taka style, people had to adapt and they had to find a way to break it. The way to break Park the Bus is fast playing, like ball play, direct style, etc. Trying to break through the small gaps in the defense, and we just weren't doing that. We weren't like our passing wasn't accurate enough. Sorry, it wasn't good enough. It wasn't quick enough. We didn't have the pace on the counter at all. So we definitely need to use that for Palace. Like, that is something that I would say to improve, because Palace are going to do much of the same, and they've got Balassi and Zaha, coming at you on the counter. They're going to cause real problems. So we definitely need to get that early goal and make Palace attack us.
Joey, I mean, Aidan talks about the counter there, and of course it seems like Palace are, going to be made this weekend to set up defensively, block a lot of tackles, look to get forward quickly through Balassi and Zaha on the wings. How would you go into this game knowing that that's what they're going to do? Do you think Van Gaal should, keep his possession-based football and, keep faith in it and keep faith in the players? Or do you think it's time for a change? Do you think we should say to Palace, come and attack us and look to break on the counter with the likes of Di Maria?
That's what I was doing. I said it was funny because I was saying against West Brom, I would back off a little bit and make, because we knew when Pulis got the job, we knew looking down the schedule, West Brom at home, he's going to come there, he's going to park the bus. We know which teams are going to do it. Crystal Palace is going to do it. It would be nice, but he's not going to do that because he's stubborn. He needs to adapt it, and I think it's kind of funny because it sounds like another guy who finally this year seemed to have adjusted his tactics down there in London, and he got a couple nice road victories. So that's what I would sit off of them and I would let them have some of the ball, and I would just play a proper match. But it's not going to happen. We're going to have tons of the ball, and we're going to have to do our best to not get beat on the counter. But like Aidan said, I think there's a common thing that happened to us over that stretch of wins. Tottenham, Liverpool. Early goals. Early goals help this our possession base massively, because then it brings those teams out. They have to come on and get a goal, or then it becomes damage limitation if we keep scoring, like against Tottenham. So yeah, I would sit back off of them, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah, Lee, would you agree with that? Do you think Van Gaal's being too stubborn in his tactics? Do you think we need do you think we need to sit back and play Palace at their own game and sort of utilise the strengths that will harm them, which, we have pace and we have some decent wingers if Van Gaal will use them on the wings? Do you think it's just a problem that he doesn't see, United going forward in that respect?
I would like that to happen, but as it's just been said, Van Gaal's never going to do that. Never. Why is at Manchester United? He's too stubborn. But I do think Palace can be exploited because they might just play the way Van Gaal is. But with Zaha and Balassi, I don't think they're disciplined enough to be able to sit back behind the ball and play possession. I think there might just be that loose cannon in their squad. I know they're on phenomenal form and both amazing players, but if they're getting told to keep possession and park the bus and just get forward when United are open, I don't think they'll do that. I think they're both not selfish players to say, but very attack-minded players, and if
we seem to have lost Lee for a minute there, I think. I'll take that question over to Huzzy. Lee's back. You can finish off, mate, if you want.
Oh, how long have I been gone?
About 10 seconds. If it was golden, then have a go.
Balassi and Zaha aren't disciplined enough, in my opinion, to stay back and possession-based football and park the bus. I think they're both not selfish players, but both attack-minded players. And I think whenever they get the ball, they're going to want to attack, and they're going to have Palace players behind them. And I think that's a real hole in Palace's game that we can exploit.
Yeah, nice. I think that's how United hurt Liverpool as well. Mata getting in behind on the right and breaking into the centre. Ashley, would you agree with that? How would you set up for this game? Do you think it's going to be a case of possession-based football again, or do we need to adapt?
With Van Gaal, possession-based, because that's what he's been doing the last couple of games. But we need to be careful because Palace might do the same, but we need to worry because if they go on the counter, they got Zaha and Balassi on the wings, tight inside. They're both really good, so we need to watch for that. But if we want to do that, we need to try get them on the counter also. But also, if we play around a bit, be dominant, then with Ferreira seeing the balls, making those key passes to Mata, getting in behind, and then boom, that can be done.
Yeah, I think we'd all second that. I mean, Huzzy, would you agree with that? Do you think, we need to watch for the threat of Zaha and Balassi? Do you see any other threats in the Crystal Palace team that we have to be wary of? Or do you think all the players are going to go through those two?
No, I'd say Wilfred Zaha and Yannick Bolasie are the biggest threats, but there are quite a few other players I'd be worried about, such as Glenn Murray. He's been on great form lately. I don't think he's scored in the past. They haven't scored in the past 3 games, but before that, he was on a good run of form. I don't know if they have any injuries, but Jedinak in the midfield, he's quite a good midfielder. I like him. But Yannick Bolasie and Wilfred Zaha, they are quite pacey wingers, so I'd be wary. Considering we'll have Blin on the left and Valencia, I think he'll deal with Bolasie fine, but just a little bit worried about Zaha and Blin on the left hand side.
It's a good point you make there about Jedinak. I think he missed the game against. I think he's been on the bench for a few games, but I don't think anyone can disagree with his quality. And this is exactly the type of game I think Pardew would be looking to bring him back for. Aidan, just coming back to you. Huzzy mentioned Jedinak there, but where do you see the other particular threats in this Palace team coming from, and how would you set United up to stop them?
Personally, alright, I was going to actually mention Jedinak for one reason: set pieces. That we lost to West Brom to a set piece. Our two main weaknesses are defending counter-attacks and defending set pieces, whether it be a corner, whether it be a free kick. We're just no good at it. We need some defensive discipline. And I know Smalling's done really well in that centre-back role. Hopefully, he becomes a leader for the last 3 games. He's kind of shown glimpses of it, but we need Rojo or hopefully Jones. Jones seems as though he's going to be fit, so hopefully we'll be able to use him as a centre-back partnership for the last 3 games. Anyway, also Balassi and Zaha, they're big threat because of their pace, literally, and that's the main 3 for me, in my opinion. There's a couple more players that could potentially hurt us, but they are the main 3. They are what are going to play to Palace's strengths, because they're going to, even though it's at Selhurst Park, they are going to park the bus. Probably not as much as West Brom, and they're not going to be as good at it because of Tony Pulis. So we definitely need to, I'd say, play the same kind of game as we did against West Brom, which sounds a bit stupid, but we just need to be quicker. We need to be quicker. As long as we can get a quick early goal, quick passing. We need players like Di Maria and Januzaj if he's fit, all right? He might not be amazing this season, he might have not done well, but he's got pace. He's got that yard of space that even players like RVP, Falcao, etc., they just don't have, and Mata doesn't have that when he's played on the wing. He's done very well, but against teams that park the bus, he just can't beat players for pace, and he's always coming back. We're playing sideways passing, so we definitely need to get an early goal against Palace, and then that'll bring them out, and then maybe it'll be a slaughter. That's what I'm hoping anyway. As long as we get 3 points, I'm not really bothered.
Joey, would you second that? Do you think we need the pace of Di Maria and Januzaj, or one of the two, to try and get in behind Palace's defenders? Because Chelsea showed as the game wore on that Palace can be dragged about if they get a bit ragged. But do you think we should start with pace to get an early goal, or do you think it will be a similar case of looking like playing possession football for 70 minutes and then throwing on someone fast at the end before it's too late?
I just want to add one more threat. I think Fraser Campbell will be a threat too, as well. He scored against us, I think it was last season with Cardiff. So I just wanted to add him to the threat. He possesses some nice pace as well. But I think we should start with pace. I've been saying Di Maria centrally. Well, this time I'm going to say I would put Di Maria out on the wing, maybe move Mata in centrally. Mata and Di Maria both possess the quality necessary to unlock a defense. They can find that ball that's Ashley Young and some other players they just can't do it. Di Maria will come up with a bit of magic and create something. He's having a bad season. He's got 10 assists, so I think that says it all. Januzaj, he's been a frustrating one this season. We've all thought he would take off to newer heights and keep progressing, and it just hasn't really worked out for him. But yeah, I think we should start with pace. Why come in doing the same thing you've been doing for the last 3 games against a team that's going to play the same tactics, because it's clearly not working. The only good thing about that West Brom game was it was a week closer to Carrick returning. That's the only thing I would take out of that game. But yeah, I would start with the pace. Why not? You know, change it up. You're gonna have to do something different because you know top four is everything. And you know, with Liverpool playing Chelsea, you know, hopefully Hazard gets back from his little vacation. You can't really see Chelsea losing at Stamford Bridge, but maybe a point. So I think we got to pick up these 3 points. It's vital. So I think we should start with pace because I think pace is the way through. I think if you like Aidan said, you exploit those small gaps in between players, and you just go at them with Di Maria. You know, you might get a penalty. You might get a free kick in a good area. And Di Maria possesses that. We need to get Di Maria's confidence. Di Maria, he should be here next year. You know, we're looking at Di Maria to be our superstar. When more he's the glue to all our superstars. He can put them all together and make that work. And that's why I want to see him stay. You know, we're gonna talk about transfers later. You said, but with players like Depay rumored and Bale and all these other these attacking talent, strikers and things like that. You need someone to put it all together. And what better player than Angel Di Maria?
Yeah, that's a convincing case you make for him, Joe. But Lee, just building on that, I mean, we saw Di Maria come on against West Brom, and I think, the less said about his crossing at the end, the better, because it wasn't great at all. But it looked like, he looked like the type of player who was trying too much without enough confidence. He was given the ball a lot, and he was looking to make things happen, but it just wasn't coming off. Would you start him despite, him not shining against West Brom again, or do you think it's the game that's perfectly built for someone like Januzaj to come into?
No, I think it should be started because, as just been said, 10 assists and having a bad season, you've got, who has a bad season and gets 10 assists? Really, if we come in, start him, gets running at the defenders, should I say, and we get an early goal, it gives us, Palace have to come and attack us then, and we can potentially just open the floodgates on them. Why bring Januzaj in when Di Maria is a better player than Januzaj? Everyone agrees with that. Di Maria possesses magic, and if he can get back to the ways he has been in the previous seasons for Real Madrid, etc., and he can just absolutely hammer Crystal Palace, and why should we not start him? The British transfer record, he needs to be started. Why not start him this weekend?
Yeah, Huzzy, would you agree with that? Do you think we need to start Di Maria? Do you think he's shown enough to start, or should Januzaj be given a bit of faith, given how he's not necessarily shone this season, but he's shown at United this season before that he can, he can provide when he's given the trust of the manager. I believe.
Yeah, it's fine now. I thought West Brom was the ideal game to start Di Maria and get him his game time that he needs, but LVG thought differently and brought him on with roughly 15 minutes left, and I think he put all that pressure on him to try and rescue the game for us. I thought he should have started it, and if he played bad, then bring him off at half time. But about the Crystal Palace game, I think he should start ahead of Januzaj. I don't see why we're bringing Januzaj straight in. I heard he did good for the under-21s, but I think we need to show a bit more trust in Di Maria. He was extremely poor against West Brom. It was hurting me to watch. He couldn't even direct a pass properly. So I think Di Maria should start, put some trust in him, get him some game time, and hopefully he'll come good again.
I mean, Ashley, do you agree with that? Do you think, as Joey said, that Di Maria is the player? He's the glue that can hold all the early United players together. Or do you think the loss of Carrick has been, too fast for this team to cope with, really?
Yeah, we do need Carrick because he's got the legs. He'll run at defenders because his impact. If he comes on 70th minute, we can do it unless he starts, because he will do good balls. He could probably win us a few penalties, and what else? Yeah, you can do anything else. And with Carrick, we do need him sitting behind in defence. So he's pretty much kind of like any other CDM really. He'll just sit back. Then when he wants to come up, he will come up and maybe he can go. Kind of like with Tottenham when the corner came in, he got alive, got the rebound. Yeah, but we do need to start Di Maria. He will give him more time and he will score or get something.
Yeah, I mean, we can all agree there, I think, with you that Carrick, he possesses, so much sitting in front of that defence, but, also going forward, he's shown a bit more of that recently. He hasn't shown that enough in his United career. I think most fans would, have hoped that he would add more goals and that, but we've lacked his pace, not his pace, we've lacked his positional sense, and we've lacked just that confidence, haven't we? I mean, Aidan, how much of a loss do you think Carrick is in the last few weeks, after that superb run of form?
Well, he's a big loss. I mean, everyone knows this. He's not the most technically gifted player, but he reads the game better than anyone. Like, literally, he knows exactly where he's got to be. Closes down the attacks, the counter-attacks that initiate. I mean, you look at the first goal against Everton. That wouldn't have happened with Carrick. He would have read that. He would have intercepted, or he would have organised the midfield. That's something he does as well. That's estimated by Carrick. He's a leader in the midfield. You need a leader in each area of the park. You've got your captain, and then you also need someone to organise each section of the pitch. And Carrick does that. And when we don't have him, we just don't play as well. I mean, I know people don't like to go through stats, but the stats are ridiculous. The win percentage when Carrick's been in the team compared to where he hasn't is just ridiculous. And in summer, that is the priority. People are saying centre-back this, centre-back that. Yeah, centre-back is a priority, but the main one is replacing Carrick, because if we're competing in competitions like the Champions League and Carrick gets a 3-month injury, what are we going to do? Like, we have no one to fill in that role who's fully developed. Blind, maybe in the future, but for next season, we need to get another player like Carrick who can read the game, intercept, or else, we can't have another 3 games like this in a row where we've missed a key player and lost just because he hasn't been in the team. That just is unacceptable next season, especially when we'll be competing for the title, hopefully. And yeah, I fully trust Louis van Gaal. We've already identified his targets. He'll already have this under wraps. So yeah, that's just my opinion. That is our main transfer target, in my opinion.
Nice. I mean, Joey, it makes sense now. Aidan's built on that. It makes sense to bring this discussion around to summer transfer targets now. I mean, do you agree with that? Do you think the most important place we need to fill in is that central defensive midfield slot, say with perhaps someone like Gundogan of Borussia Dortmund, or would you be looking more towards a centre-back or perhaps even a forward?
I don't think you can put, we can try and put these in order of importance, but I think all those positions are important. I think a center back and a central defensive midfielder should be top priority, but then I could say right back as well, because obviously Rafael's not the answer. Valencia, he was okay this season, but he wasn't anything to write home about, and up against top quality opponents in Europe, he's going to get absolutely destroyed. And going forward, Valencia just offers nothing. So I think there's a few areas that need to be addressed. I think striker is one, but it all depends on there's going to be a lot of outgoings as well. We got to see what's going on with Van Persie and Rooney, and see what that deal is. Obviously, I don't think Falcao will be signed, but then a report comes out that he will be. You never know with Mendes. But I think, yeah, I mean, if my personal opinion, I would say central defensive midfielder, absolutely. I don't think I'm as high on Gundogan as everybody else is. I try to shy away from players with major injuries. People talk about how Falcao couldn't grasp the physicality of the Premier League. Well, who says Gundogan will? And Gundogan has that back injury. I just don't. I'm not sold on him. So,
yeah,
but yeah, I mean, if I had to though, it would be central defensive midfielder. But they're all equally important if we want to achieve the levels that Manchester United should be achieving.
Yeah, it's a good point you make there about Gundogan. I mean, he's obviously a very talented player, but we've been burnt before buying a defensive midfielder with a long-term injury problem, haven't we, in Hargreaves? I mean, Lee, would you be interested in United signing Gundogan? Obviously, the rumours are growing. There's been a lot of talk that a deal's potentially already done. But do you think that's the position we need, a priority signing? Would you spend the money there?
I wouldn't mind getting Gundogan, but I've read a few times that Dortmund only sell one major star every summer. And to be honest with you, I'd rather have Matt Hummels over Gundogan any day, because Gundogan's injury prone. It's every aspect of our team needs a new player, bar goalkeeper with De Gea and Valdez if De Gea stays. Otherwise, when Van Gaal came in, he wouldn't have signed a centre back, a left back, a holding midfielder, a winger, a striker. You wouldn't have signed all them positions if our team was strong enough in every aspect of the pitch. It's not. But as just been said, I think we need a right back and potentially a holding midfielder yet. But what would happen if Gundogan came to the Premiership and just say Yaya Toure stays at Manchester City? And Yaya Toure is a big physical presence. What if they're just battering into each other? Can Gundogan get hold of the Premiership anymore? Like, I don't think he's the answer. And I really like Danilo if we could have had him at right back, but he's went for Madrid, hasn't he?
Yeah, 30 mil. Yeah, they snap up anyone they want, don't they? I mean, Huzzy, Lee makes an interesting point there about Dortmund only selling, trying to make the point of only selling one major star every summer. I mean, it might be different this summer, considering that Klopp's going and Thomas Tuchel's coming in, and they could, potentially sell both to raise the funds for him to rebuild his team. But if you were given the choice between signing Gundogan or Hummels, which one would you go for?
Well, here's how I see it. Signing a replacement for Carrick is more important in my opinion. But then, if you're signing Gundogan, who hasn't got any Premier League experience, he was 2 years ago one of the best midfielders in the world, but now he's injury prone. He's not the same player after his injury, so that's a risk. You sign Gundogan, you don't know if he's going to be a good replacement for Carrick. But the thing is with Mats Hummels, he's a great defender. He's proven it in the Champions League. He's proven it in the Bundesliga. He doesn't have any Premier League experience, but he's one of those defenders that we need, the one that are commanding and captain-like. So I'd rather go for Hummels. It's a less risk, and we can't afford to take any risk right now. I want the glory days to come back as quick as they can, and I'd go for Mats Hummels.
Right there, that's pretty confident. I mean, Ashley, Huzzy talks there about wanting the glory days to come back, but obviously, we've got to potentially take risks. Ferguson's taken risks in the past in the transfer market, but we've got the money to spend. Do you think that we should be taking risks, say potentially going for a big money move for, say, the likes of Pogba, bite the bullet and bring in 70 million, or do you think we should be playing it safer with people like Gundogan and people more in that price range?
Like, if we want to do back to the glory days, we should start from the back. So maybe bring in Hummels first, then get Gundogan. Like, he'll probably be cheap because he's always injury prone. So we can then, after that, then possibly, because with someone saying that Russia saying one player like a season. When Klopp goes, like wherever he goes, some players will want to follow him. When he comes to the Premier League, most of the players, and that will open the door for us. And like with big money deal, like taking the risks. If Pogba, we need someone like probably said so many times that he doesn't want to come back to us because we picked Anderson over him or something like that. Like if we want to get him, but I don't really want to have Bale because Real Madrid will not want to lose any money off him. They want to have him for equally what they bought him for, or a little bit much. So, and he's probably good and happy at Real Madrid, so I don't think he wants to leave. So, if we want to do a risk, we've got to do a wise one and start from the back to our old days.
I mean, Aidan, would you take a risk? Would you take that risk on the likes of Bale or Pogba? Do you think, we've got the money, obviously, in that new massive Adidas deal? I think that's worth 70 million a year for 10 years. So it's, a huge amount of money that's coming into United. And, of course, the new TV rights deal, that's going to increase the funds by, I think, between 40 and 60%. So there's going to be this amazing amount of money. Do you think that, we should be spending on the likes of Bale and Pogba?
Personally, I'll go on to that in a sec, but I just want to go on to a point about Gundogan. People are saying he's injury prone. No, he isn't. He's had one major injury. That's a back injury. It's not recurring. He's done fantastically well this season. I watch Dortmund quite regularly. He's been amazing, all right, and he's shown glimpses of the form he's shown. Personally, centre-back, I wouldn't choose Hummels as my first choice. My first choice would be Nicolas Otamendi. His defensive capabilities for Valencia, or why they've got such a good defensive record. Why do you think Valencia are determined to keep him? They're determined to only get his release clause for like 37 million. Personally, I would pay that, all right, for Otamendi. He might be a good partner for Rojo. I think he's the answer to our defence. I wouldn't turn my nose up at Hummels, but personally, Otamendi's better. Going on to this Bale and Pogba thing, I don't think the Bale transfer will happen. Is it Guillem Balog, the Spanish
Guillem Balaguer, yeah.
Yeah. Basically, well, he's got inside tracks. He got the Di Maria deal. He got the Vela deal. He's got all of these deals, and he basically said Real Madrid are trying to base their future on Gareth Bale. And I think they're only going to sell one world-class player every year to buy another marquee player like they usually do. And I don't think that's going to be Gareth Bale. So personally, another thing where it looks as though we're pushing away the Depay deal to try and get Bale. Personally, I would get the Depay deal wrapped up and then maybe even go for Bale after. I mean, yeah, that might be a bit too much, but we need to get a winger wrapped up, and I would cry if Depay went to Liverpool. I really would, because he's got so much potential. Pogba, don't think he's coming to United either. I think he's going to PSG or Barca. So yeah, I would take Gundogan. My signings would be Nathaniel Klein, Nicolas Otamendi, Ike Gundogan, Memphis Depay, and anyone else they want to get, to be honest. I think that would cover most of the main positions. And then maybe after those key signings are done, go after a world-class player like Pogba, like Bale. Try and get these signings after you've got the key ones done. Because we don't want to lose all these players to other clubs. That's my opinion.
That's a nice shopping list you got there. I mean, Joey, would you agree with that? Do you think we need to, not necessarily aim lower, but perhaps get some of, the deals we can get wrapped up done soon before we, lose out? You don't want to be waiting there, do you? It's like getting asked out for a problem and not saying yes to anyone and then being left there on a...
I just want to put about the Gundogan thing. He's missed over 100 games in 5 years, and he's coming off a spinal injury. So, I mean, I'm staying away from any player that has a spinal injury, let alone a knee. You know what I mean? I mean, he might not be injury-prone, meaning he gets injured every other game like Phil Jones, but a fucking spinal injury, I think that says itself right there. It's pretty fucking serious. But I think all deals will be done by the time the preseason tour starts. I think it's January or July 10th or something like that. Because they've said, if Target A isn't available and they're dicking around, we're gonna move to Target B. This is the great thing about Van Gaal. He might be stubborn in his tactics and things like that, but his attention to detail. He said in January, he was starting on his transfer targets for the next season. He knows what this team needs. So, I think that superstar label, or should we go for whatever? Van Gaal will know what he needs. Woodward's the type of guy who wants to get these superstars in because he wants to make some money off of jersey sales and marketing and all that shit like that. But Van Gaal wants to get the right players in to fit his philosophy, whether that's Gareth Bale, Memphis Depay, Otamendi, Hummels. I feel confident in Louis Van Gaal. So I think that whatever Louis Van Gaal wants, I want.
Nice. I mean, that's polar opposites of Moyes, isn't it? I think we're all behind this manager. And just, I think we've talked on transfers long enough now. So just, looking at the run-in, Huzzy, I'll come to you on this. We've got 3 games left. And just going back to the Crystal Palace game, if we win, we'll be 7 points clear of Liverpool, who obviously have their game in hand on the Sunday against Chelsea. So, we could technically, end this weekend having wrapped up the top 4, but are you still confident of it, or do you think there's a chance for yet another slip up?
To be honest, I don't feel confident. The current gap is 4 points, and they've got Chelsea away, Crystal Palace at home, and Stoke away. They're 3 tough fixtures as well. I'd say from them 3, they're going to get maybe 3 or 4 points maximum. And from our fixtures, we've got Crystal Palace away. That is tough. Man City went there last. Big teams go there, small teams go there, and it's very difficult to get a result there. A small team like Liverpool went there. They, I hope I get it right, but I think they lost there 3-1 last year, and Arsenal won there, but just about. So that will be a tough fixture. And in Arsenal, if you've seen the way they've been playing, you should be worried, because everyone knows that I admire the way they play, and it will be worrying when they come to Old Trafford. And then after that, Hull away, I think that's a easy 3 points. So I think we will get it, but I'm not confident. There is a chance of a slip up.
Yeah, I'm just going to ask you for your score prediction as well. We'll start there.
Me?
Yeah, go for it, mate.
I think 1-0 United.
1-0 United, a close one. I mean, Lee, just coming over to you. Are you still confident of a top 4 finish? Do you think there's a realistic chance that we're going to miss out, or do you think we'll have it wrapped up by this weekend? And can you let me know a score prediction as well?
A few weeks ago, I was confident we were getting top 4 no matter what, but the last 2-3 weeks, confidence has dropped a bit. I really don't think that we will slip up, but there's a little thing at the back of my mind telling me we could. So, to be honest, I really, 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 really hope we have it wrapped up by the end of this weekend and we enjoy the rest of the season. But there's a chance it couldn't happen, so that's going to be playing on everyone's mind till Sunday night. But the score prediction as well, I'm going to say early goal United. We're going to open the floodgates 3-1.
3-1, nice. I mean, Ashley, coming over to you. Are you confident of a top 4 finish this weekend? And can you let me know the score, please?
Yeah, I'm very hopeful with it. So if Chelsea beat Liverpool, which I'm begging for that to happen, no one top 4. But with the results for Crystal Palace, it may be 2-1 to us. You might score, then we'll get the comeback. Against Arsenal, that'll be maybe 1-0, maybe. And then with Hull, then 3-0 to us, straight up.
Yeah, nice. I mean, Hull, they're in danger, but I mean, they showed, pretty much nothing against Arsenal to suggest that they've got anything this season. I mean, Aidan, just coming over to you.
And saying, doesn't Steve Bruce have a bad record against us?
Yeah, it's not great, is he? He's a former United boy, so he hopefully will leave that one with a nice victory. But Aidan, coming over to you, are you confident for this weekend? And can you give us a scoreline, please?
I'm fairly confident. I mean, I'm not as confident as I would have been 3 weeks ago, but I can certainly see us winning. I can see it going one or two ways. Either we'll get the early goal and then they'll have to attack us, and then we'll be able to score 3, maybe even 4, and we'll win comfortably, or it'll just be another West Brom. Personally, I'm going to say 3-1, but I've completely forgot what the point before that was. Sorry, what was everyone talking about?
Just are you confident? Are you confident of a top 4 finish?
Oh yeah. Sorry about that. Anyway, yes, I am, because the thing is, Liverpool, I reckon, are going to get 4 points. They're going to lose to Chelsea, they're going to beat Palace, and they're going to draw to Stoke. So that means that we get battered every game. We don't even need a point to qualify, and I think we'll get, in my opinion, 4 to 7 points. I reckon Arsenal, as stupid as this sounds, I'm more confident against Arsenal than the other 2 teams because of our record against the top 6. Arsenal have been fantastic, but they'll come and attack us. So that means games like Liverpool and Spurs and City, if we're on form, we'll be able to find those pockets of space, those quick counter-attacks, and get the goals that we did against those teams. So I think that'll be an entertaining game. Hopefully, though, it's done and dusted by this week, and Liverpool get beat by Chelsea, we beat Palace. CL's done, so maybe we can start youngsters. Pereira, love to see him get a debut, but let's get top 4 done.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, Joey, going on that, are you confident this weekend, and can you give us a score prediction?
I don't know. They seem to do really well, in April and May against some of the top sides. They kind of wreck the party, Crystal Palace do. So
they wrecked the party quite well last season, didn't they?
Yeah, they do. I'm gonna say I think it's gonna be 2-0, but I'm confident of the top 4 finish. The thing I want to see is some urgency right out the gate. I want to see us pressing. I want to see us, get that early goal. And I want to see a relaxed game where I'm not, almost having a heart attack. And then I don't want to be disappointed this weekend.
Yeah, I think we're, not many of us can take that much more disappointment. 3 defeats on the bounce. It's like the dark days of Moyes, isn't it? I mean, just thank you for your predictions, guys, there. Just one more thing to mention before we say our goodbyes. There is a prize going round, a lovely prize going round on the United View at the moment. If you check the Twitter, there are some lovely tickets to the Legends game against Bayern Munich, I believe, on the 14th of June. So if you go on our Twitter and go on these lovely guys' Twitter handles, which we'll give a mention to in a minute, then you can find out how to win those tickets if you're free in June. Obviously, Brian Robson's going to be there and a fair few other people, so get involved. And we will say our goodbyes now, gentlemen. Aidan, where can people find you tweeting?
At Melvin7 on Twitter and also YouTube. Do Manchester United videos as well as FIFA videos.
I've said this before, people. You should check out Aidan's videos. It's great, and also, you know, there's potential to get involved with him. A few FIFA games, so you know, get involved with that, guys. Ashley, where can people find you tweeting and anything else you do?
MrAshleyCoghlan, so that's where you can find me tweeting.
Sure. Can you just repeat that, mate? Sorry, it just went a bit
Mr.
crackly.
Ashley-Coghlan.
Cool.
C-O-G.
Lovely stuff.
Yeah.
Nice. We'll tweet that out after the show as well. Huzzy, where can people find you, mate?
You can find me on Twitter at Mr. Huzzy _. And also, I'd just like to make a quick point. I know I did say Gundogan was injury prone, but what I meant was, I know he's a spinal injury is a big injury, so I didn't want to take the risk in signing him. But I know he's only had one injury, so I'd just like to correct that.
That's a fair point, mate. We're always good to have, you know, a little bit of lively debate. It's all these players flying around, all these injuries. You know, we don't want to get caught up in too many things. But Joey, we'll just move on to you now. You know, where can people find you Twitter, mate? You tweet a lot, and it's usually very good stuff, so people should get it.
Yeah, maybe Tom will follow me after this.
Yeah.
It's at Joey Tabor, and you can catch me playing in the poverty leagues on the weekend.
Lovely stuff, mate. Lovely stuff. Lee, where can people find you? I think you've got a huge Twitter following, so you know, people may probably, any United fans have probably seen you before, but just give them a little reminder.
On Twitter at _Lee Clayton and Let's Talk MUFC. Do Manchester United YouTube videos at youtube.com/Let's Talk MUFC. If you come along to me Twitter as well, just last night, start trying to raise £10,000 for Macmillan Cancer. If you can get involved, please do.
Yeah, guys, Lee's doing a superb job there, so please get involved. Please, if you can, sponsor him. Do anything for him. You know, he's a superb guy, big United fan, and what he's doing now is superb. But that's all we've got time for now, guys. So, you know, we're going to have our traditional sign-off. Who wants to do the honours tonight? I know Joey's not.
I'll do it, if you want.
Yeah, Aidan can have a go. Aidan's going to go big for it tonight.
All right, you ready? Come on, United!
Oh, yes.